Hello everyone, welcome to your classification, the science of taxonomy notes. We're going to start with Carlos Linnaeus. We've talked about him a little bit. He's the one that developed a modern classification system that we still use today. Of course, we've tweaked it some with domains and whatnot due to newest discoveries. He was in the mid-70s traveling around Sweden classifying plants and animals. Now, one thing I want you to notice is I've got the dark text and then I've got some orange. The orange is just kind of extra for me to talk about. It's really the dark text that goes in the lines on your templates of your notes. But anyways, he was traveling around classifying plants and animals, and he came up with the idea of binomial nomenclature, which gives every organism a two-part scientific name. These names are written in Latin because it's universal. It's not spoken anymore. It doesn't change. And so Latin tends to be the language of science. And it's a lot better than common names. You might say a brown cat-like creature, and someone could say puma or cougar. And really, we're talking about a specific species. So scientific names are much, much more specific, and every organism only has one scientific name. So, for example, the house cat, its name is Felis catus. The wild cat is Felis sylvestris, and the black-footed cat is Felis nigripae. So clearly, Felis means cat. So there's your house cat, and your wild cat, and the black-footed cat. Now, if you need to pause at any time or rewind, feel free to do so. So classify means to put into groups. Biologists classify living things by their parts or structures, in addition to other things like DNA, evolutionary history, and relationships. And scientists use an 8-category system of classification. I'm just going to focus on the kingdom parts of it, and we'll talk about domains in class. We're going to start with one animal and start at the most specific and work our way up through the entire kingdom. So we're going to start with the species. Species is a group of animals that look alike and are capable of breeding with one another to produce viable, fertile offspring. This is a lion. Her name is Panthera leo. You might want to make a note on your notes that this is the genus name. We know that because it's capitalized, and this is actually the species name. So the species is Leo. The genus is Panthera. Genus Panthera are a group of species that are alike in many ways. So Panthera are big cats. These include the tigers, lion, jaguar, and leopards, and they're the only cats capable of making that roar sound. Family are all the genera that are alike. So the genre would be, or the genus would be, the family, would be Felidae, and that would be the cat family or felids. Cats are characterized, they're carnivores, they have retractable claws, soft toe pads, a rough tongue, and relatively large eyes and ears compared to their skull. So this would be panther cats plus the puma, panthera cats plus the puma, the lynx, the leopards, and many, many more. Order is a group of families with similar characteristics. So now we're getting more general as we move up. So now we moved away from just cats, and we're talking about the order of Carnivora, which translates to carnivores. These organisms are mostly terrestrial. They all have sharp canine teeth, sharp claws, a large brain, and a heavy skull. So now we see the inclusion of like bears and dogs and wolves. Now, one interesting thing is that members of the order Carnivora can be carnivores, omnivores, and there's a few herbivore species, such as the giant panda. Even though the panda chows down on bamboo, it still has the features that put it in the order of Carnivora. So it's not just diet. That's incredibly important. It's all these other characteristics. Class is a group of orders with common characteristics. So now we've really gotten more broad. So for example, all of the organisms we've talked about so far are mammals. Mammals are characterized by having fur or hair. They're endothermic, which means they maintain a constant body temperature. They don't have to bask like lizards and snakes do. Mammals give birth to live young and feed those offspring milk via mammary glands in the females. Phylum is a group of classes that show similar characteristics. So the phylum that our lioness belongs to is Chordata. Chordata have vertebrae, which are bones or cartilage that surround the spine. Cranium, a skull to protect the brain. An endoskeleton, so an internal skeletal support system made of bone or cartilage. They exhibit bilateral symmetry, which means their body plan can be divided into two mirrored halves. They have two pairs of jointed appendages, whether those be limbs or fins. And finally, we have kingdom. This is the largest, air quotes, taxonomic group because it's the largest in the Linnaean system, but we know that we also have included domains due to discoveries by Carl Woese and the reshuffling of the taxonomic system. So the kingdom for the lioness is Animalia, which are all animals. Just to give you an idea of the number of species within each of these phyla, so this is the whole animal kingdom, and you can see we've got, here's the plants, which are fine, they give us oxygen, but whatever. We're going to focus on the animals. So we've got Echinodermata. Look at all this blue. Arthropoda. Those are the main components of the animal kingdom. Millions of species of arthropoda. And then finally, just to end on human classification, humans are classified as animals because we are multicellular, we eat food, we have to put it into our bodies, and our cells have nuclei. Our subphylum is Vertebrata. Our class is mammals. Clearly, females give birth to live young, we maintain a constant body temperature, and we have hair. We are in the order of primate because of two things: binocular vision, which means our eyes are in the front of our head, and the fact that we have an opposable thumb. That's a characteristic of all primates. Our family is Hominidae. Those are human-like with large brains. And then our scientific name, our genus and species name, is Homo sapiens. All the other species are extinct except us. And it goes to sapiens translates to large brain, small teeth, and ability to make stone tools. So that was pretty quick. I have a 10-minute time limit, so if you need to rewind, feel free to do so, and I'll see you later.